with the enclosed Earth, you got to think there's like an ant keeper. You know, like someone that has an ant farm. You know, they control the ant farm. They study the ants. We're the ants, and then they introduce things into the environment to see how the ants behave. Where is the ice wall? When I say where is the ice wall, are those air balloons that people are sending up with GoPros? If this is an ice wall that's the circumference of the flat Earth, we should be able to see this. I mean, it should be visible.
If you teleported yourself 5 light years away, and right now the date is 2010 on Earth here, but if you could teleport yourself right now 5 light years away, and you had a high-powered enough telescope that could see the surface of the Earth, and you looked at it, could you see the year 2005 in live action?
So for the past 6 months, I've been thinking about Mark Sargent's Enclosed Earth from his Flat Earth Clues series. And it makes a lot of sense. It just fills in so many of the holes. Now, I'm not anti-flat Earth. Last year I abandoned the globe model, the heliocentric model. But I've been doing a lot of driving. And I've been putting it all together, just thinking about the whole thing. I like the idea of the ice wall. It's cute. It's hilarious. It makes sense. It keeps all the water in. It makes all the water flat and all that. And it makes global warming have a whole different perspective, or climate change, or whatever you call it now. But as you go flat Earth, and when I say flat Earth, I mean it's essentially just a rejection of the models that we were presented throughout our entire life. And it's not really necessarily subscribing to it's flat, you know, because there's so many different models anyway. So flat Earth is just a rejection to me. For you, it could mean whatever you want it to mean. But when I say flat Earth, I don't mean I think the world's flat and that's it. Because what's the shape anyway? Is there a bottom?
Because it's 5 light years late. So it's hitting your telescope. You know, when you look into the sky, you're looking into the past. The astronomers love to say that. Oh, you're looking into the past when you look into the sky.
We're in a giant fishbowl or snow globe, or an enclosed world. Is it a rectangle? Is it an hourglass? Is it a snow globe?
All right, but let's take it further. Can I teleport myself, if I could teleport myself 5 light years away with a high-powered enough telescope to see the surface of the Earth, could I see the year 2005?
The fact that if we went to the moon between 69 and 72 and no one decided to ever go again on the entire planet, the rejection requires us to use observation in order to go forward.
You might think Johnny's nuts for that, right? But go check the movie Deja Vu again with Denzel Washington. I think, and they don't explain this in the movie, but I think what's going on is in Deja Vu, the technology that they had to be able to see 4.5 days into the past is that they had a real-time satellite in a geostationary orbit with the wrong side of the planet. That's 4.5 light days away. And that's why they had to see it right when the moment of, I think it was a murder or something. They had to see right when it happened because it was 4.5 light days. Was it 3.5? 4.5. 4.5 light days they're seeing in the past. So that would be my real-world calculation of it. All you scientists out there, why don't you tell me how wrong I am because you're so smart?
You would have thought someone would have wanted to replicate the moon landing and then one-up it. So one of the observations is where's the rotation? When we look at the GoPro footage, we don't see rotation. But there's no, like when you go to the NASA website, it's all CGI. You would have thought something would have happened by now. These were questions. I was a space enthusiast up until this year. I've always been on the quest to find video of the whole planet rotating because I wanted to see what satellites looked like out there. I wanted to see if there was any UFOs or like a Death Star docked somewhere. But let me not get off task here. The challenge to the flat earthers is we got to prove there's an ice wall aerially from aerial shots, air balloon shots. Sure, you can get the photographs that someone else took in Antarctica of glaciers, but we don't even know if it's in Antarctica. It could be somewhere else that has a glacier. So we have the glacier pictures, and you know they're shown. It's like, hey, look, these glaciers are real high. This is the ice wall. Other than like in They Live, you know, they showed that teleportation thing where those businessmen were able to travel from planet to planet. Where's the ice wall? Because flat earthers are making this big ice wall claim while we are saying that globe earthers are making outrageous claims like the planet spins at 1,000 miles an hour. Okay, so we need to have some verification that there is a circumference ice wall. It's kind of like the outer rim that holds all the water in, and that's why boats don't go over the edge, is because they only meet the ice wall. Sure, there's the Magellan writings from 1,000 years ago, but we got to come with some. But we can't see the full plane in view, so we're just saying it looks circular. And I've never seen the ice wall on these air balloons, but it's the current theory that they're going on. It's an outrageous claim to say that there's an ice wall that covers the circumference of the Earth. I like the idea, but if we're challenging globers for everything that they're saying, their claims, and here we are making a claim that there's this big 2-mile-high ice wall, and all we have is Operation High Jump, and some claims that you can take out of context that aren't definitive, then we're doing the same wrong that the globe earthers are doing. The 1945 expedition of Operation High Jump of Admiral Byrd going to Antarctica with the crew, you know, there's a lot of questions that remain from that. And there's also the video of Admiral Byrd talking on TV.
Dude, where's my invisibility? So, you might ask, why, John? Why, John? Why are there no OLEDs yet? Why did you know about it in 2002 and then we still don't have them in 2015? Well, I guess my theory would, and I don't know what the business term for this is. I guess it's like staged releases. But my guess would be that, well, in 2002, I don't think I had an HD TV yet. I didn't. I probably had a standard square TV, so they wanted to release the first generation of HD TVs, then the plasma, then the what was it called, DTV, or...
You know, I remember saying that the ice wall, it was like this landmass that was larger than the United States. And you almost wonder if it's like Pac-Man, because he was concerned about Antarctica to be like a strategic military location where you could get to different parts of the world quickly. And in Pac-Man, the video game Pac-Man, you know, there's those, like the left and right side. If Pac-Man goes out one side, he comes out the other. So you wonder if there's like a portal or something. We're just making claims. The whole point of going flat Earth is to actually get into real science, not the religion of science, but trusting but verifying, and not even trusting at this point, only verifying. So how do we verify there's an ice wall definitively? Close-up shots of glaciers don't count. We need something more. If anything, someone should launch an air balloon from the southern tip of Argentina, if that's even possible. Or, in your globe model, whatever piece of land you believe is closest to Antarctica. Although, there should be, if it's a circumference ice wall, you should be able to do it from Alaska or Australia. I don't remember the name anymore. And then they wanted to release the LED TVs. Now you got the 4K televisions, then the curved televisions. So they're releasing it all in generations. They probably had, well, obviously they had the OLED wallpaper. Why would you even want anything else besides that since then? But, so I guess they got to make money. Eventually you might get your OLED television, your OLED wallpaper. But the first version's going to suck, and then eventually you might actually get something good. And then you get your holograms. It all exists now, but it's going to be delayed. And that delay, the reason why the delay pisses me off is because it's delaying our evolution. As we get these technologies, we learn more about things. And I just want to get to the end game already. Can I have the 21st century now, please? So in the Flat Earth series, Sargent takes an account of how far we've been. So he says the farthest we've been into the Earth is 8 miles deep. The Marianas Trench, I think, is 7.5 miles deep. The farthest they've drilled is 8 miles until they get to like the mantle. And the mantle is like impenetrable. So the farthest deep we've got is 8 miles. And then the Deepwater Horizon and all the deep water drilling, there's deterrents. So the deterrents are like what the ant keeper of the enclosed earth or little snow globe we live in, they put all the oil there so that if we drill too deep to get through the fishbowl we're in, there's an oil deterrent. And then to escape the outer sides is Antarctica, the ice wall. And the ice wall is so treacherous. Even to get to the ice wall, you have to survive the entire ocean. And so humans invented airplanes and battleships and whatever, and we could cross the treacherous ocean. But it keeps the majority of the human ants from getting to the edge. And those who do are then faced with a 2-mile-high ice wall. If they should clear the ice wall, then they have to go through the ice shelf. And I don't know, who knows how far that goes. And that's the thing, there's nothing out there that's like a non-stop mission to get to the end. Like someone, I can't do it. I'm not physically fit to do that quest, but someone needs to get to Antarctica and get to the end and clear that ice wall and see how far the ice shelf goes. But for an ice wall, you guys, if globe earthers figure out that we don't have any quality proof of an ice wall, they're going to call you out on that. And again, the idea is fun. I love the ice wall idea. But it's just as much fantasy as a globe spinning at 1,040 miles per hour. By the way, if you ask Siri how fast the Earth rotates, it does say the equatorial rotation is 1,040 or 1,080 miles per hour. Then, to go upward, there's more deterrents. So first you have gravity keeping you down. If you should happen to beat gravity and find a way to rocket yourself, propel yourself, or use an air balloon to get up, the air balloons that people have sent up, they all pop at 120,000 feet. I don't know if that's where air ends or whatever that keeps the air balloon going up. There's some deterrent there to make those balloons pop. Maybe the balloons expand too much, but whatever. There's a bunch of people sending GoPros up on air balloons, and they all seem to pop around 120,000 miles. If somehow you should be able to get past that 120,000, did I say 120,000 miles? 120,000 feet. Somehow you get past 120,000 feet, you know, there's all the different spheres of the mesosphere, the stratosphere, the this sphere, that sphere.
I know they have 50 years ahead of where I'm at. Why do I have to wait? Why are we delaying evolution? Just so you know, for 13 years as new TVs and other technologies have come out, I've been like, I've known about the OLED, I've known about this cloaking technology, and I've just been waiting. It's 13 years now. I'm like, hey, where's the OLEDs? Where's the organic LEDs? Where's the invisibility? Where's my OLED wallpaper? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Because I know it exists. Where's my hydrogen fuel cell battery for my cell phone that could last 46 straight days? Where is it? Because it existed in 2002. Why is it not for retail in 2015?
So ice wall, get some evidence. Hey, and how's this? Because I've been on the road for a month. I can't keep up with all the flat earth stuff. If you're sitting there saying, what is dude talking about? We have definitive proof of the ice wall. This is the opportunity to paste that in the comments below. Call me out on it. Call me an unresearched flat earther or something. And post that link below. Because dude, if there is an ice wall, I want to see it. I've been watching GoPro balloon footage and I don't see any ice wall. All the myths of God and religion are probably based on the interaction with the ant keeper, whoever's looking over our dome or looking over our enclosed world, or the ant farm keepers are just like tech support trying to make sure that everyone plays nicely in the video game and doesn't try to escape. Problems I've had with the globe spinning rotation model was when I really started to ask questions when Howard Bloom, who wrote the Lucifer Principle. He started working with NASA or some space agency, and he said that they were building a space elevator. This is about 10 years ago. Well, about 12, around like 2004, 2005. And I was a big Howard Bloom fan. And when he started talking about this elevator, I thought it was a great idea, but then like I'm trying to envision how it all works. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, if we're rotating, and I didn't know the rotation speed, I just knew it was fast. I was like, man, if we're rotating and you're going up in that space elevator, you know, I'm wondering like if the rotation matters as the elevator gets higher and higher up. And then I'm thinking, once you get into like space, would all these satellites, you know, hit you in the head at 29,000 kilometers per hour or whatever speed they say all this stuff goes at? Just trying to figure out how that worked. And I wasn't looking at it skeptically. I was looking at it like, man, this is a cool idea, and trying to like picture in my mind what the journey would be like. And I'm thinking, all right, well, if the planet keeps rotating, you're on this stairway to heaven thing, you're gonna get whacked in the head by something. And it always was a problem in my mind. And I used to also wonder about, actually I used to have dreams about piloting spaceships, like on space voyages, and everything was cool, like enduring the pain of liftoff and the G-force and all that. I got through all that. The flight in space was fine. The issues I always had were the descents into the planets, and actually the descent into the other planets was no problem with that, and the liftoff to get back into space, no problem. The problem was always re-entry, because I didn't know the angle. You know, thinking that the planet's rotating at like 1,000 miles an hour, you're like, all right, so would I bounce off this thing if I don't hit it at the right angle? Because imagine that thing's going spinning, and you try to enter something that's going at 1,000 miles an hour. And I figured there must be some kind of angle you had to go at. And if you didn't, you'd get whacked by 1,000-mile-an-hour winds. Like, so imagine hurricanes. The worst hurricanes, category 5s, category 6s, are between like 150 and 200 miles an hour. So if the atmosphere is going at, as they say, rotating at 1,000 plus miles an hour, it's like flying into the craziest hurricane of all time. It also would mean if the planet's rotating and the atmosphere is going with it, it's like a hurricane. 1,000-mile-an-hour atmospheric hurricane. Maybe I'm wrong, but that was always my dilemma in my dreams. That's when I would wake up, was the re-entry. The rotation has always been a problem for me, even when I was a globe earther, believed in aliens and planets and everything. You might have heard me say I go to the movies to be informed, as if it's like a newsreel. That's where I get my information, some of my information, because I know how to read in between it. Anyway, movies show tons of information. Especially science fiction films. That's all I really go to see, science fiction. It's called science fiction, but it's really science fact. Alright, so as Sargent describes the enclosed Earth, he tries to take what we know. As far as we've dug into the ground or traveled deep is 8 miles. And after that there's mantle. And Marianas Trench, I think the farthest they've gone down, I think James Cameron, the film director, got to 7.5 miles deep. He got to the bottom. But if you drill there, I believe oil comes out. So oil is a deterrent. And he mentions that there's deterrents to keep us from getting to the outer rims, to escape. There's all these deterrents. So if you could, and then the ocean is a deterrent. So if somehow we cross the entire ocean, we then get to we're faced with an ice wall in Antarctica. And then Antarctica is the perimeter of the entire planet, and that keeps all the water in. And it's 2 miles high, no matter how you get to it. So if you could somehow clear the 2-mile-high ice wall, you're then faced with this ice shelf or this ice plain that goes for miles and miles, and you're either going to freeze to death, you're going to run out of water, run out of food, but it's like a vast, not a wasteland, but an ice desert that is very hard to pass. It's a deterrent. So we have the oil deterrent at the bottom, or the mantle deterrent, which is impenetrable. We have the ice wall, the ice shelf deterrent, and then upwards, so that's down and that's to the side, and then upwards, when we send the air balloons with the GoPros, that's the only thing we could trust. You can't trust NASA. You could trust people sending their GoPros up on air balloons. At 120,000 feet, the balloons pop. And so I think the biggest selling point that got me to go flat Earth was this idea of a stationary enclosed Earth. And I just went with it because it made all the questions that I had as a glober, not as a skeptic, but as someone just trying to figure out, like I'm always trying to figure out, all right, if I want to go into space, I want to travel into space, what are the things that are going to happen? So all the space debris was always an issue, and I used to think, man, how are the space debris not blowing up the ISS and space shuttles? Like, how are they dodging all that stuff? The asteroid belt. It's only on my radar because a buddy of mine back in around 2002 called me up. He told me about OLEDs and how they basically record one side and broadcast it on the other, and then cameras record this side and broadcast it there, so it's like both sides see each other. He also told me about a guy he had met that had created a fuel cell battery, and it would allow your cell phone to not need to be recharged for 46 days. 46 days. Hydrogen fuel cell batteries for cell phones. Never heard of it ever again. Heard about it in 2002. Also heard about the OLEDs. In addition to the tech that you're going to see in these videos, you could have OLED wallpaper. Still don't have that yet. He told me about it in 2002. Here we are in 2015. I still don't have OLED wallpaper, but the OLED wallpaper basically makes it so that your entire wall can have, like, your computer could be connected to it and change graphics, panoramas, anything you want to have in your house on the wallpaper. It's basically digital wallpaper. It's made from OLEDs. One guy told me that the reason why it's not out yet is because they haven't figured out how to deal with the heat yet, but who knows. So OLEDs, invisibility, all the tech, they're showing it to you in all these Marvel films. Iron Man, the Avengers, G.I. Joe, G.I. Joe's Hasbro, Transformers especially. Every time you go to see science fiction films, take it as basically current events. The bookstores should change science fiction to current events, and history should be renamed to fiction. You got to know how to connect the dots, connect all these films together. Could there really be 4 movies all showing invisibility, all with the same exact type of technology, and it doesn't exist? And the Japanese say they already made it in 2003? Because the asteroid belt looked like, when you look at their solar system models, which everyone believes like that are real. And you look at these solar system models that aren't real, they're just made up. They have that asteroid belt, and the whole asteroid belt has an elliptical orbit, and it's not all together. It's like a donut of asteroids. I was always concerned. It wasn't like a skeptical thing. It was like, man, how? Like, I was impressed that they could avoid all those asteroids on these Voyagers and Geminis and Cassinis and all the probes that they supposedly sent out there. Never got hit by anything. And many people think that the curvature is the smoking gun. And they say, the horizon's always rising. They give all these reasons. I don't think the curvature is the smoking gun. I think the rotation is where everything breaks down. And that's what I challenge people, is to find the rotation. And when you can't, that's when you have to start asking a million questions and rebuilding everything you knew. So I think flat earthers should make a big deal about where's the rotation. If there's no rotation, time is based on rotation, the calendar, the supposed rotation, and then you start to ask, well, then what are the stars? And you're like, is it a hologram on the ceiling? I think when you have to force the globe earthers into a corner regarding rotation. But when you do, if they finally accept that, that's where their journey begins. Where is the rotation? Find the rotation
I think flat earthers should push the envelope of where's the rotation. I think the rotation is the smoking gun that everything breaks down. If the earth is not rotating as the world turns, I think that is the fundamental question. It's not that you live on a ball or a sphere. It's that you live on a planet that rotates. And this thing should be the thing that could be the definitive. To me, it's what broke everything down. Once I couldn't find the rotation, that's when I started to have to ask a gazillion questions and had to reevaluate everything. It makes your own observation kick in, and you stop taking other people's perspective and other people's word for it. Once you find that there's no rotation, then that's the gateway drug, the rotation. Others think it's the curvature, or this, that, or the other thing. Find the rotation. Find the rotation. That's my piece.